to bite harder in the country. Residents struggle to survive, but for residents of Borno states, they have hope in a caring governor. On Tuesday and Wednesday, Governor Babagana Zulum supervised distribution of cash, food items and clothes worth 275 million naira to 95,000 residents in Monguno town of Monguno local government area of the state. At the distribution, 55,000 women received 5,000 naira cash each, while 40,000 male heads of households received 25 kilogram rice and 10 kilogram beans each. Let's share the story by TVC News' Jesse Tafida with you.
Monguno town, about 133 kilometers from Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, is home to thousands of locals displaced by insurgency, but have now returned to find a new lease of life. The displaced persons here consist of people from other local councils, namely Kukawa, Guzamala, Ganze, and Marte. Today is an unusual day for these ones, as the state governor has come bearing gifts. Items brought include food items, cash, and wrappers for the 95,000 people at this location.
And within the last 7 years, their access to the agricultural lands is limited. This has informed the decision of the Borno state government to provide palliatives to all those that are living inside Monguno town. But we are still not okay. So we shall continue to provide palliatives in Borno state until when we completely resettle IDPs to their ancestral home and access to the agricultural land has been completely given to them.
The 55,000 women present got 5,000 naira each and a wrapper, while 40,000 men who are heads of household each received 25 kg bags of rice and 10 kg bags of beans respectively. The governor supervised the distribution to ensure there were no sharp practices. We sincerely appreciate the governor for supporting us with these food items. This is huge and it's timely. God bless our good governor. The governor also commended efforts of President Bola Tinubu, Northeast Development Commission, and the National Emergency Management Agency towards making the palliative distribution exercise possible.
The smiles on the faces of the beneficiaries shows how thankful they are with the gesture they say will go a long way in alleviating their sufferings. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Monguno.
Julie, earlier in the week, we spoke about governors that are really giving out and are really affecting their people directly. Yes. There's no other way to affect your people more than this.
Yes.
Because these guys are broke.
Giving money, giving clothes.
Giving food.
For the women, giving them bags of rice, bags of beans.
At this time, very expensive.
Governor Zulum is a special kind. It's not... He doesn't need anybody to praise, to sing his praises. Mm-mm. I remember when I went to Maiduguri the other day, he inaugurated projects that he completed in just 100 days of his second term. So, this in primary health care schemes here and there. And the vice president was asking, are you saying you finish this within 100 days? And he said, yes. What some people would take years to do is such a special breed.
The sincerity.
It's just, the love, you know, there's nothing like having empathy. It's one of the qualities that a leader must have. If a leader does not have empathy,
you must love your people.
You must care for them. You must pity them.
Pocket and transfer to a Swiss account.
Yes.
If you don't have empathy.
You may, when you do that, if you are not careful, you may not even have the lifetime to spend that money. you may spend it on hospital.
Yes, or you
know,
yes.
or someone else inherit it. So we thank the governor for all that he continues to do. He's been doing this repeatedly. Nobody asked him to do it. He did not even wait for the federal government to flag it off. This is just his nature. He's been doing this from his first term. So, but now our people need this so much. You hear people talk about hunger. This is the time to address that hunger. Because whether we like it or not, the removal of subsidy and the crash in the value of the naira have worsened inflation. So we have to try our best to just ease the pains of our people.
It will go a long way. See here, we have a disaster right in front of us. In a situation, look at the number of people displaced. Look at the number of men, idle men, women, young youths that are in this camp. So if you don't practically feed them, they are not doing anything.
They are not. Yes, yes, Ewa, I agree with you. You know, some people are already losing hope in the Nigerian story and the governance. But with people like Governor Zulu, you know that there's hope. There's still hope in Nigeria. There are still people in this country. And we say it time and time again that there are certain individuals that what they've not had is the opportunity to be able to serve. Some are ready to serve selflessly. And that is what Governor Zulum has exhibited. In a state that is practically under insecurity, that has been over the years have been attacked and attacked and attacked again, that so many people have been displaced. But you see him and the kind of things that he does. And just as you rightly said, it's a time bomb. You know, at the point, the governor has been saying that we need to relocate these people back from the IDP camps, back.
Because they
are not doing any. An idle man is a devil's workshop. Look at the number of young men that are there, practically doing nothing. Able-bodied, not just young men, not that they are disabled. These are able-bodied young men. But he has taken the bull by the horn. But you ask yourself, how many can he reach? What are the resources at his disposal? What is Borno State getting from the federal account on a monthly basis? What is the IGR from Borno State? Same lean pulse that he has been able to. So we have to commend him. And you continue asking yourself, what are the other governors doing? Now that is the question we should be asking. If a governor in Borno State with all the myriad of problems that he has still doing this, what are the other governors doing? Have you seen them reaching out on this issue of palliatives and the rest of them? Everybody is waiting on the federal government. Oh, federal government have not done this. Oh, federal government have not done that.
But that
is supervising his demand.
Some things.
From what I heard from some of his aides, this man hardly sleeps. I wonder how he does it. Because this is a person that by 2 a.m., 3 a.m., he will be visiting hospitals. 3 a.m. when you are not asleep.
People distributing.
Look at it. And he made sure that they got to the right people. And that is it. So we commend him.
Ultimately, our penchant for foreign goods has become a kind of cancer, hindering our progress as a country. Worried by the influx of Chinese adire into Itoku and Asheru markets in Adeleke, Ogun State capital, the negative effects on local adire fabrics, the Adeleke of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Gbadebo, constituted a committee to address the issue. Oba Gbadebo laments the China fabric is fast taking the shine of indigenous adire, which he said will adversely affect the economy of the states in particular and Nigeria in general. Jide, Abeokuta is known as the home of natural adire, the traditional one. I don't know the business of China and our people importing adire from China again. We are funny people. We import palm oil, we import everything. We want to import jollof rice again. Cooked jollof rice.
Even egusi soup. The Chinese will never be able to produce adire of the quality that our people produce. Because all they are after is to mass produce. You know, they are originally communists, but their capitalist tendencies are greater than those of the Americans. they want to mass produce, you know, without caring about quality. So I believe it's some Nigerians who have gone there to contract them to begin to produce this thing with the promise that they will make a lot of money. Of course, in terms of the cost of production, it will be lower over there because the pains that those women go through, they are not going to go through. They are going to use machine to deliver what those women deliver. But what they come up with is inferior to what those women painstakingly deliver. And the governor said the other day that he was worried about the fact that Chinese were beginning to flood our markets with adire produced in China. So there has to be protectionism, at least to an extent. I've not seen any country that flings its gates open to all commerce. We have to promote local industry. There should be some things that foreigners will not get involved. Like foreigners getting involved with retailing of goods. I mean, it's wrong. It should only be those things that our own people here cannot readily produce. We have to produce local industry. Otherwise, it will lead to rampant employment and it will worsen the livelihood of our people. We cannot allow the Chinese to come in and produce literally everything. When we talk about palm oil, in the case of palm oil, we are even not producing enough because we have chosen to regress in the area of agriculture. So we are not even producing enough of our palm oil needs now. So we are importing. But adire, who says that we are not producing, who says that we need the Chinese to bring adire, their poor quality adire, into our country? We don't need it. I commend Adeleke for stepping in. I expect the governor of Ogun State to do whatever it takes, because the tradition, the rich history, and the sense of industry of our women will be defeated the moment they know that the market is flooded with cheap alternatives. I once said on this program that some time ago I costed Dangote, Aliko Dangote, and I asked him, yes, why did you shut down your textile company? Because at that time, his textile company was the fourth biggest in Nigeria. And he looked at me and said, oh, I didn't know that you hate me this much. I said, Alaji, why did you say I hate you? He said, the friends of the people in government, they are the one importing textiles into the country, illegally bringing them in trailer loads. He said, so how can we survive? And it's true. If we have local textile companies here and we allow Akosombo, allow all of them to flow, our people have this taste for anything foreign.
Yes.
So if we allow the Chinese to continue to bring it, one, it will be cheaper than our own, but it will never be as good as our own. And our people, a lot of them will go for something cheap. So we have to address this. We don't need Chinese adire in our country.
They'll say if it's not Panadol, it can't be the same thing as Panadol. When you look at the tie and dye, the way they process it, the uniqueness and everything, there's no how the Chinese people can pirate this and bring it to our country and you see have that same quality as said by Jide.
It can be, and I totally agree with Jide, what Jide said. Some weeks back, I was in Adeleke, and I went to some of these places where they sell this adire product. Where you need to see the quality of what these people display. The colors, different colors, the beauty. In fact, very close to Olumorok. That place, that particular point is very close to Olumorok, the popular Olumorok. And they're relatively cheap. When compared to some of these other things, they're relatively cheap. And they come in different qualities. Those of 5,000, that was 7,000. I think the highest I saw was about 15,000 thereabout for 4 or 5 yards, the biggest of the qualities. And it was good. So I would have, I think the government should review its policies and put a total ban on importation of items like adire into the country. Because that's the only way we can protect the, if not total ban, then place a very huge tax on anybody that brings that in. That will deter people from importing those products. But the question you ask yourself, if you put a ban on it, what of our porous borders? Because most of these things don't come. They come in through the north. They come from through the borders in the north. If you go to some northern part and see, that is where you get to see most of this. Not only adire, there are some other cloth materials that you are Guinea, like what we call Guinea brocade, and the rest of them that are manufactured there. But you also ask yourself, apart from that of adire, how many textile industries do we have in Nigeria? Those days there used to be Asaba textile, there used to be Kaduna, I think Kaduna textile. Osun made his name from being a textile, made his name from being a textile worker. He was the president of the textile union in Kaduna textile. So I totally agree, but it's good enough. Also, another thing is projecting this product. If you look at some of our people, they're already doing that. Okay. If you look at someone like, Okonjo Iweala, yeah. I'm sure you've been seeing her.
What's the Ankara?
Ankara. Her own is Ankara, Adire, anywhere you see her. That is the way, that is because our leaders also have to up the antics by making sure that when you see an average Indian, just by seeing the way he dresses is enough to tell you that where he's from. And that is what, and some of our leaders have been, someone like former President Olusegun Obasanjo, you will always see him adored in those districts. Even the governor of Ogun State, I've seen severally on the. So what we need to do is, as I said, try to stop the importation, put a total ban on some of these products that we produce there. And if for any reason anybody wants to, then just like some other products, then we pay a high premium on tax. That in itself will deter some of them from importing them.
On the final note on this, there's even a woman that is abroad now, that she's a lecturer. She lectures this adire, how to make it in a university in the United States. I saw the documentary on CNN. I've forgotten her name, but she's very, very popular, to show you that our people are really making exploits with this adire.
Yes, and Nigerian homemade Ankara prints too are doing very well. The wife of Obama had a Nigerian designer.
Michelle.
Because yes, Michelle was used to wear some Ankara prints. They were designed by her Nigerian designer. You know, people say that Ankara is not flexible, but when you see Michelle wearing it, you know that look. It's all a lie, yes, and it will sit well on her body. So but I am worried about the influx of this adire from China. I've seen some of them even in Abuja. There's a place where I buy some textile materials in Abuja. When you look at them, you know that these are not Nigerian adires. We need to do something to protect these women. Otherwise, this business that was handed down from generation to generation will just die during our time. Because if you don't stop the one-time importation of Chinese fabrics, like adire especially, those women will become discouraged because people won't patronize them anymore. And that will be the end. It's one of our biggest exports to the world. We can't open our eyes and let some money-chasing Asians come and destroy our heritage. We've got to do something.
All right. Age, they say, should not be a barrier to learn, beg your pardon. As such, some senior citizens are tapping into the empowerment program of the Lagos State Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. 2 retired workers, 66-year-old Bolanle Majakudumi and 64-year-old Kuburat and Imasham voluntarily enrolled at the Lagos State Skill Acquisition Center in Agidingbi, Ikeja, to upgrade their skill sets in computer operations and software. The senior citizens were among the 4,592 participants trained by the Lagos State government in various skill acquisition courses. All right, we quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be back for discussion.
It's the Premier League all on DSTV. All the goals, all the clashes, all the moments. All of Rashford, Salah, and Saka. All in the language of your choice. All in HD. Available on all these bouquets to choose from. To watch on all these devices. Stay connected for all the action.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thank you for staying with us. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Judy, looking at the number of people that enrolled, 4,592 participants for this various skill acquisition in Lagos State.
It's, you know, for the good thing is some of the people are elderly, some had even retired from the civil service, and they felt that, okay, let us go into this so that we can then have alternative means of taking care of ourselves. The era of relying on government for everything is over. Government cannot provide all the employment needs of our people. This skill, this vocational training that they've given people will help them. Some of them will be able to become fashion designers. Some will be caterers. Because I looked at some of the areas in which they've been taught. Definitely, they will be able to even be employers of labor. They'll be able to set up on their own and be employers of labor.
Yes.
So our government needs to create the enabling environment for this sort of things so that more people will be involved. People can survive outside of government.
For a state like Lagos State now, this set almost 5,000. Now we can even increase the numbers.
Of course. What I will even expect is, okay, at even local government levels, cascade it down. You know, we have to commend the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation for even thinking outside the box, you know. But we need to cascade this down. This should not be a one-off thing. Let's make it constant. There are people who are looking for opportunities like this. Some people spend a lot of money to acquire this level of training. Government can help, you know, and some of them who are already graduates of these 19 skills acquisition centers, they too can be used to mentor other people, to actually train other people, pass the knowledge that they have picked up to other people. So that all these young women, I do women, some of who think that prostitution is the next thing to do, at least they can have something. They can
work with their hands.
That busy themselves with. So it's something that we need to do. If you go to Borno State, a lot of these boys who used to be Boko Haram, what's it called, fighters, government has set up big skill acquisition center, big vocational centers where they can learn all kinds of trade, including repairing of computers and all that. They teach them all of these things.
To engage them.
Carpentry, fashion design, tailor, I mean, what was it called? Barbing salon, you know, all kinds of skills. And those boys are waiting because unemployment is a time bomb in our country. We have to realize that this is a problem and do our best to address the problem.
If you remember in Niger Delta, when they started this amnesty program, till they practically involved those youths. Some went into piloting, some went into welding, some went into this, and they were able to get them out of the creeks. And majority of them today, they are even pipeline security men.
Yes, I agree with you. There's nothing like self-employment. And
government set up people.
There's no longer, in those days, we talk of white-collar job. There's no longer any white-collar job again. There's nothing, why is the collar? Talk less of the white. So there's no longer white-collar jobs. And you know, the beauty of it is that we are talking about 4,000, let's say closely about 5,000 graduates from that. If each one of them employs one person to assist him or her, that is 10,000 already. That is 10,000 people off the employment market. So it is a very good one. Just as Jide said, I know of somebody that a few weeks ago said that she went to learn this how to, you know, these things that women face, and these eyelashes and painting and whatever for 3 weeks.
Beauticians.
She paid 150,000 naira.
Yes.
For
to learn tailoring, it's a lot of money.
I'm telling you, she paid 150,000 naira just for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I say, what? Is it that same? Say yes. Those are 150,000 for just 3 weeks to learn how to rub powder and how to put. Then you know that the government is trying. So we have to commend the Lagos State government. And just as this should also be scaled down the local government. If out of all the local government in Lagos State and SCDAs, you're having something like this, if they're training an average of about, let's say 100, let's say every month 100, and be able to, that is where we're talking of palliatives. This is where palliatives should be going to. If the palliative means you buying one empowerment. If it means you buying one, it will get to the people. Yes, if it's buying one sewing machine, you know that grinding machine that they use in grinding pepper. If you give it to a woman, you will be shocked by what she done now. Yes. Grinding pepper now takes about 500 naira to just. We know.
Pump your tire.
Yes, now pump tire is about 500 now. It's 500 in Lagos.
To pump vulcanizer, just
want to remove that tire and now patch it, and it's over 1,000.
Yes, over 1,000.
So yes,
money.
That is money. So that is what we're talking about. So some of these things, it looks a bit, but it is a very good. And from what I read, the Lagos State government have made it a periodic thing. It's not just one. They make in fact, they've established a place where these people
in aggregate. There's a permanent place.
Permanent place. They have a permanent place.
That center. They have a center.
And they do it periodically. So we thank. We need to commend the Minister of Women Affairs,
Commissioner,
and the Commissioner of Women, and also the Office of the First Lady and the Second Lady.
You know, we must also talk about the resilience of our women. When you have somebody of 64-year-old.
It just shows that she doesn't want to sit
at home. Even if she's retired.
Doesn't want to sit at. She wants to busy herself doing something. My mom, even at close to 80 years, she was still running her shop. She would come to Lagos, buy textile materials, and take back to Ilorin to sell. They don't want to sit down. If you have been used to working hard, you don't want a situation in which you look like you are boxed to a corner by age. So they want to keep themselves busy. And you can see that woman, that old woman, you know, has been a good example.
Olori is over 80 now.
Yes, now.
She's over 80 and she's still working.
She still cooks by herself. You see her in the kitchen, she cooks. If you come to our house now, she will be the one to go and cook. She won't send anybody. She likes to be on her feet working. You know, people say, at this stage, you are still cooking. The rest of us will be in the parlor. Like, that time when we went home for coronation, people were in the parlor, she was in the kitchen cooking. You know? So their generation don't like to sit down. They want to work. And that is setting the right example for today's young women who just want to...
Young women want to be slay queens.
They want to slay repeatedly. They want to use the most expensive phone and then carry men and be talking about two minutes men and all that.
They turn you to 2 minutes.
When I was growing up, I didn't know anything about 2 minutes.
They've upgraded it.
Who prescribes the duration?
They've upgraded it for 1 minute.
Who prescribed the duration?
I don't know.
This thing?
No, I think there's a competition. Does that need competition?
I want to start a discussion on that. We must talk about the prevalence of sex toys. See all over the place.
Man will never match equipment. It's like they are already now comparing
that's what they're doing.
People that you must be able to function at the level of their toys. I mean, this is arrant nonsense.
It's crazy.
Nonsense.
They're looking for who to kill. They cannot.
You die before your time.
They cannot send us.
Because you want to impress.
They can't send us.
You want to impress people. You don't want them to call you 2 minutes. You go and be taking using ore meeting, shenu ebo, all of those.
How do you know
those things? I'm a town man. I did town now. You don't say you don't know. You are not a town. Let us begin talk about you.
All right. Moving on now. Events are unfolding to show that sharp practices abound in most private institutions of higher learning in Nigeria. At the weekend, the Nigerian Law School has imposed a 5-year ban on Bayes University, Abuja, for admission of students to study law. The university, owned by vice presidential candidates of Labour Party, Ahmed Dati, failed to adhere to the Council of Legal Education's admission quota of 50 law students per session. Julie, you want to shed more light into this?
Well, I think there's a victim sitting directly in front of me. I have my own
better position.
I have my own ideas, but let's hear from the horse's mouth.
Okay. Sikian is a graduate of Leeds City University. Is a graduate of law, and is yet to attend the famous law school. Sikian, what do you make of this story?
It's quite unfortunate what is going on in most of the private universities as we have it, and I think what the institution, Council of Legal Education is doing with Bayes University may be coming too late for me, but it's not too late. Because I don't know how we got to this level, where universities will admit students for law programs. Not only law programs, there are also so many unaccredited courses. It's happening in the universities. Offering courses that were not accredited. And
you not be
stranded, yes. Some of our students, people now go to some other countries like Benin Republic to go and read courses that are not recognized by the NUC here. And you come back here and you see that you have a certificate that you cannot use to work. But back to the issue of this thing. What happened at Bayes University, as I said, is happening in so many universities, especially private universities. And you now come to ask yourself, what is the job of the NUC, National University Commission, and also the Council of Legal Education? For Bayes, they have admitted their quota to the law school is 50 every year. The law school gives every university its quota so that they will send to law school. There are some schools, some very, very big universities, they get 150 yearly, some get 100. But most of these younger universities and private universities get 50. But what happens in these private universities? They admit as much as 150 students every year.
To get school fees. And at the end of it all, when they graduate, most of them cannot go to law school. You see situations where they're having, they keep you see some of them having backlog of 4-5 sessions. Students running into about close to 1,000. Then you start asking yourself, if they start picking them 50-50, for how long? I have graduated going to 2 years now. 2 years?
Yes. I've not been able to attend law school because of the backlog in my school. Yes. I don't even know when I'm going to go to law school. And that is for someone like me, 57 years old that I decide to take law as a second degree, then that is very annoying. It's very, very disheartening. That is even for me, because I have
the older you become, you now go and face
I have wasted the task of going to school. That is so demanding. Even the task of even going to school and spending 4 years of my time is enough task for me. That is even on my own part, because I think I have some things I'm doing. I'm a journalist. I have a lot of things. What of the younger ones?
Yes, and that they want to go for youth service.
They want to go for youth service and
want to exceed that
21 years after 21. The 21-year students are now finished university education. They've read law. They can't go to law school, and they just remain at home. Then they see their mates from other schools, from other institutions. They have got it. My set, I have just finished, my set, that also be my set, they've just finished their bar exam this Tuesday. Another set, another set have been mobilized, of which I'm not getting. I don't know when my time will come. So I think that the NUC and the Council of Legal Education to start taking an inventory of all the schools in Nigeria.
I think that, okay, since we have heard from the horse's mouth, because it's a victim, and the story is better told by a victim. Now we know what this university has done. We are hearing that, oh, it is victimization. It is victimization.
It's political. It's nothing.
It's political. So now, anytime somebody gets punished rightly, you will come and tell us that it's political. Oh, it is because he didn't support Bola Tinubu. Oh, it is because he's from Labour Party. Oh, it is because he's this. It is because of that. We need to stop that nonsense. If you got a quota, in fact, I blame the regulator for allowing this to.
That's what I said. Then you see, I
blame them.
Yes.
If from the beginning, and that is the problem with our country, we are too lax about enforcing these things. If from the beginning you had stopped them from behaving in this manner, we won't have the backlog. How can backlog be stretching up to 5 years? They have not said no, that you must not do law program anymore. They are saying that until
you clear the
backlog, and then somebody will sit somewhere because he thinks that Nigerians are very gullible people, that any trash that you say, they will believe. You are saying that, the victimization has begun. You are saying rubbish. Which victimization? Is this not a victim sitting in front of me? Does he know when he's going to go to law school? Is it not his right to go to law school, having finished his
immediately after finishing that's law program?
Is this the way it used to be?
You're moving.
I mean, we went to school. Some of our mates read law.
Yes.
And we know that after their program, they go to law school.
Go to law school.
You set people back several years because we want to make money, and we must not talk about it. If we talk about it, you will say, oh, it's because of victimization. Which victimization? If you cannot live with the law, then close your university, for God's sake. If you cannot abide by the regulation, then I think there should even be a bigger penalty for these people. If they cannot abide by the quota that they've been given, they should shut the law program in those schools. They should shut, and that's where they make a lot of money. We see high-profile people going there, going to those universities. High-profile people who have no time to read, going to those universities.
And they will have to one at the end of the day.
What time do you have to read? What time? That's why people are worried about our country, even the decline in the quality of education.
Do you even know that? Take this for example. Do you know that a law program that's ordinarily supposed to be 5 years for JAM intakes and 4 years for direct entry? Baylor University is having a 3-year law program. How did they come about that? 3 years. Yes, 3 years. Accelerated law program. What kind of rubbish is that? It's happening.
Yeah, well. So what this means, I don't even know.
So that means you have to.
I don't know about their. I don't know about their.
I am saying I'm a graduate. I am telling you I'm a law graduate. I know what happens in most of these schools, and I'm telling you for fact, go and do your investigation. Yeah, do your investigation.
And what I'm saying is,
that's 4 years, that's 5 years. Then also 3 years. Who reads? Is it not the same thing I went to read for 4 years that I was sweating like an animal? That somebody wants to. But what I'm saying in essence is that the NUC and the Council of Legal Education should start having an inventory of all these schools.
Shouldn't there even be
regulator?
Shouldn't there be a uniform number of years?
Yes.
Yes.
That you should do.
Yes. It's 5 years or 4 years. If you went through directly, it's 4 years.
So it means that if we are not careful now, people will go and read medicine after 2 years. They will say they finish.
You are now a graduate of medicine. You are now a doctor.
You now become a medical doctor.
Is it done?
So is that not a possibility if we are not careful? So the thing is, any of those schools that cannot abide by a simple regulation, they should close their law program. That would teach them a lesson.
I totally agree with you.
Because in this country, we just behave like we do not, that there's no law. People just do what they like. And when they come for them, they will start talking about these people who cannot even respect small law.
Yeah.
Small law.
Quote and unquote.
So they are the ones who want to get Nigerians to respect the law.
Even some of those that are...
From in your own little cocoon, let us see you as respecting our laws. Let's you set that example before you start looking in our direction, before you start looking in the direction of judges, before you start doing this. Let's leave this holier than thou. Nobody holy pass. That was what Two-Face sang. He said, nobody holy pass. At your own level, inside your cocoon, let us see you begin to even obey
simple laws.
Simple laws.
They
gave you a quota for 50. You are admitting more than 2 times that number. That is rubbish now. And when they complain, you will say, oh, it is because it is politically. Stop the blackmail. These people should stop the blackmail. They should stop the blackmail. Any little thing, they will say, oh, the judges have been bought. Oh, this and that. Oh, this and that. No, we won't run a country based on blackmail. You are not blackmail us not to say the truth. Who are you?
Standard.
That's a standard that everybody must adhere to. Come on, that's the way it is all over the world. I've been seeing some of what people are posting. Educated people coming to say, oh, it is victimization. Oh, victimization.
It's not like that. There is not.
And there is a victim sitting in front of me. He doesn't know when he will be called.
It is what is happening. I'm telling you that I'm a victim. It's what is happening. And they say we shouldn't talk. At my age, I won't talk. At my age.
You are not even sure when you are going to that.
I am not sure.
Doesn't know.
I don't know.
Doesn't know. He's just sitting there. He doesn't know when he will go.
Thank God I have another profession. If I've been waiting, that is because of this law that I'm going to
go eat now.
Hunger will kill my children now. Did they like say, that's why for the bin?
Yes.
Like saying that now him that is because of law that I want to Hunger will kill me now. Thank God I have another one. But what of those children that don't have any?
You have no right to eat. You have no right.
Eh?
You know, you cause students to pay extortionate school fees. At the end of that, you still itch their progress.
Yes.
You block their progress. I mean, it is wrong.
All right. Moving on now. It appears that the feud between Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fabura and his predecessor, Minister of FCT Nyesom Wike, has degenerated into a cold war. Wike has described Governor Fabura as ungrateful, stressing that he doesn't like ingrates. He likened what is happening to the saying that you can only know a man when he's given power and money. Nyesom Wike spoke on Friday, and before that time, we saw the governor of Rivers State commissioning a project that was actually finished and completed by Nyesom Wike. And I listened to the entire 15 minutes of his address, and stylishly and systematically, you could notice the Cold War because he avoided mentioning the name of Governor Nyesom Wike. Did not even give him the credit. He was talking about being prepared to do anything that is possible to defend his people and to defend the people of Rivers State. So on Friday, Nyesom Wike came out to say, look, see, this is just the beginning. that we've not started at all. And Nigerians felt that, oh, after the intervention of President Bola Tinubu, that, oh, they might have shielded their sword, and everybody, all is looking good. We saw them in that church service. They were both shaking, and the governor saying that he's my boss, he will continue to be my boss. And I was deceived. I thought by now the tension would have, been de-escalated.
Well, to a large extent, the tension has been de-escalated. If Wike had not talked, we would not have known that things were still bad, because at a point we were thinking that the state will go up in flames. The president's intervention calmed things down, no doubt about it. Even Wike said, well, because of the president, what the president gave instruction, you don't do this, you don't do this. So he is slowing down. It's unfortunate, but Issa Wike needs to realize that there's nothing happening between him and Similaye Fubara that is not happening in most states. Governors want to determine their successors, sometimes impose their successors on everyone. But you have no guarantee that the person that you have imposed will be loyal to you all through. There's nothing that they've done to Wike that is strange in the context of Nigerian politics. Nothing. I've seen worse situations. He's talking about 3 months. What is 3 months? There are people who fought their godfather the same week that they came into office. There are people. So if 3 months to him is too early, he should ask Jim Nwobodo. Jim Nwobodo went to bring Chimaroke Nnamani from the U.S. was a medical doctor in the U.S. Brought him here. He fought Jim. He fought Jim to a standstill. They divided the House of Assembly. At that time, the Jim's supporters in the House were sitting in Abuja. They dare not sit in Enugu. Enugu was too hot for them. Invariably, he was able to win some of those Jim supporters to his side, and effectively he took complete control. He did not want Jim to interfere in the running of the state. Yeah. It was the same coin that Sullivan Chime. In fact, Sullivan Chime began to fight Chimaroke Nnamani's aides and other people that they were in the cabinet together the same week that I took over. I had friends in the government at that time. People like Ogazimora, Igboneku Ogazimora. They chased them out of their government quarters the week that Sullivan Chime took over. And Sullivan Chime effectively shut out Chimaroke from affairs of the state. We've also had what happened between the Secretary of Government of the Federation, Akume, and the pastor,
Father Ilya,
that
just took over.
He put from the week that he took over, he left no doubt that he does not want to entertain a godfather. That's what happened. Today, they don't see eye to eye. Today, their aides, they don't like one another. This is a fact. Two different persons did the same thing to the former governor of Gombe State, Senator Goje. Dan Kwabo did the same thing to him. Remember on the day that Senator Goje lost his wife, Dan Kwabo came to the house and he said, you, from the inauguration arena, you've not entered this house. You remember? Because we played that video here. Yeah. They were speaking in Hausa, but I translated it. He said, from the inauguration arena, you've not visited this house. This same woman was the one who used to take good care of you. It was after he died that you knew that this was your house. As if that was not enough. That one left. The same Danjuma Goje brought the current governor. In fact, the breakfast that this one served him is worse than Dankwambo. Dankwambo may not talk. Dankwambo was a gentleman.
He served a warm breakfast. This one is very good.
You know, the mafia people say revenge is a meal best served cold.
Very good.
Goje was coming into town for the wedding of his, I think, granddaughter also. They stopped Goje from entering town. How can a governor do that to the person who facilitated his becoming governor? So, see, if you're even, that's why Wike needs to slow down. I know how painful it can be when you feel that someone has betrayed you, and I think it's shameful for them to be bringing ethnic issues into it. It's not. Fubara is not an Ijaw governor. He's the governor of all.
I'm telling you.
Don't bring, because I saw some of the Ijaw leaders that are coming and say no, that is wrong.
Busy telling them to that.
He could have gone for his own brother, an Ikwere person. And the Ikwere man will win because they have the population.
Yes, their
local governments are the biggest. What are we talking about? So if he went for you, you ought to remember that it's done you a favor. And what Wike is saying is, look, many people have sleepless nights to put you there. You have no reason to treat them shabbily. But as the elder, people are asking him that question, as the elder is the one who needs to slow down a bit. Otherwise, the outcome may not be palatable for him.
Anyway, you asked one of the most fundamental questions during that interview, because you were there and I watched you. You asked former Governor Wike, sir, is this not karma? I wish our producer can play that. You are trending on social media. You are trending. That's your question. Okay. Yes, you are trending. What goes around comes around. You said what goes around comes around. And I was expecting him to. He was dancing around. Yes.
No. He was right.
Yes.
He was right because Amechi didn't make him governor. Never. Amechi didn't make him governor.
No. Amechi didn't make him governor.
Unlike him, he made. You see, there is a difference. Yes. I understand where it's coming from. When Amechi ran away to Ghana, he thought he would kill him. They were the ones who fought for him. They were the ones who fought for him. He was right. He made someone governor. Amechi didn't make Wike governor.
BKO.
Amechi went for someone else. Let me get somewhere. Amechi went for someone else. He went for Dakuku. He contested against him and defeated him. You remember?
I do.
So the point that he's making is that, look, the fact that he made him, yes, he was his chief of staff. Yes, he was his chief of staff.
That's why.
But he didn't. The difference. This one, he made him.
BKO, let me land.
He was his chief of staff, and he worked hard to make Amechi governor.
Yes, BKO, let me land. Wike was a chairman of a local government.
Yes.
It was former governor, what's his name? The one before Amechi. Was Odili. It was under him that he became chairman of Obiakpo local government. And when he was to have the second term, he was having problem. That's to come back as a second term. He was
as local government chairman.
Yeah, local government chairman. He was having problem. He ran back to Odili. Amechi was Odili's younger. He was a boy to Odili. When Odili had his hospital in River State, Amechi was his PA. So we have to understand these issues fundamentally.
And he made Odili to made him speaker.
And eventually at the issue when Amechi was having a little problem with Odili, Wike sided Amechi. There were a time they had issue, but they resolved that issue. He now became chief of. If Wike was not made chief of staff to Amechi? At what point will he start talking of the issue of becoming, where he became minister, he didn't become minister? But let us, I knew that no matter whatever Wike says, in as much as I know
the cases are not exactly the same. That's the point that I make.
No, I'm not saying
he didn't make him governor, but he made this one governor.
That's
the point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was trying to say.
No, that's where I'm heading to, is that somebody will always make someone when it comes to politics. Wike did not just rise up one day and became the governor of Rivers State. He became the governor of because don't forget
it was former president.
That is why don't forget what the road.
It was Jonathan that chose him.
It was, don't forget the road patience Jonathan made in Wike becoming this.
Because at that time, Jonathan wisely chose Wike because knowing that being an Equere son with their population, they would defeat whoever Amechi brings.
And that was what happened. Was already having problem with Amechi.
No.
He was already having
See, let me tell you. See, he was already in APC now. We know. But I'm telling you why he went for him. He went for him. Amechi said, let us do power shift. Let's go to the riverine area. They countermanded him by going for an Equere son, believing that an Equere son with the population and all that, they would defeat Amechi.
Amechi was also,
and that was what happened.
Was Equere as well.
But he had done his 8 years now.
Yes.
Abi? So, I'm not saying that it's not Equere now. He had done it 8 years.
Yes.
He now said, let us move to somewhere. But they did not agree.
Yes, let me land on my this thing. I'm happy that this is happening. You know why I'm happy? Most of these people believe that they could just handpick anybody and the person will remain loyal to them. As well. It's happening in Abia State. Ojo's Okalu and the chief was
now he's even worse.
That was
worse. He was in prison. He was his chief of staff now.
He was chief of staff. He was
in prison. They did election in his absence.
Election. He was in prison when they had that election.
Or you know that in the case of that one, he didn't fight Ojo's Okalu until after the first term.
That's what I'm saying.
It was after he won this election.
It was
that he now began to fight.
You know that it was the senator, what's his name, Abaribe, that was deputy to Oju's Okano, that was eyeing that post when he now picked it. And it has happened time and time again.
Because the man, they had already impeached him now.
So what I'm saying in essence is that, but back to Wike, I would have thought that if you give me the, as they say in my place, if you give me the goat, release the rope to me. BKO.
Our people,
you dash me.
You know the problem is
you hold the rope.
You know when people, you are no longer in power, and for every appointment it is you they go to lobby. The man who is there will start feeling.
That is it.
You are diminishing his office.
You know he was.
That is what they don't realize.
You know he was talking about his. No, you know Wike was talking about his structure. My structure. He bought form for everybody. My structure, and I was asking your structure. You are no longer the governor of Rivers State. You are now a minister. Why don't this is a boy you brought and you ask the Rivers people to
his structure now, can be his structure.
I didn't say you should.
His structure can be inherited.
Exactly.
Bukola Saraki inherited his father's structures. Bukola Saraki inherited his father's structures.
Bukola Saraki fall out with his father.
Maybe I'm going somewhere now. You can inherit a structure. Even the fallout was not immediate. The fallout, the first sign of it was after this first term. When Bukola said, okay, those are points, he sacked everybody.
He sacked everybody.
He was targeting the people that his father nominated. Invariably, they resolved it. But when it came to who will succeed him, he had to fight his father, because he didn't want his sister. They have sibling rivalry, terrible one. He didn't want his sister to succeed him. That woman will probably have become the first elected female governor in our country if Bukola had backed his father.
AY, let me land. Just let me land on this. AY, my own problem with all that Wike is doing now is that he's bringing a lot of distraction to this government, and that we should address. Wike is no longer the governor of Rivers State. He's the minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And whatever he does and says, let me state this. As part of that, he came out and made categorical statement that, like, I will not contest against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's what I'm asking now. For goodness sake. We are not already talking about 2027.
Oh, if people ask you a question that takes you all the way there, won't you answer?
No, you can have it. There's a clever way of answering. So there's a clever way of it. Where I'm landing is that, for goodness sake, Wike should realize that he is now a minister and not a governor. This issue of
advised him about this.
This issue of calling the press this research project every day, that you calling media.
For me, I didn't expect that over this matter that you now call a
library. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It should deal with the matter of maturity.
At that level.
Otherwise, we've seen big politicians bigger than him who fell by the wayside. If we advise him and he does not take it because he thinks that he don't know anything,
he has somebody that is under now. He has somebody. No, let us not.
If
say,
he does not,
look,
see that of Asiwaju.
Yes, he has somebody that is under now. He's no longer the governor.
No, see, even Asiwaju will want him to be strong in rivers. Let's not deceive ourselves.
For political consideration,
he needs that political relevance. If it's not relevant politically again, even the value that Asiwaju places on him will go down. That's why he thinks that he has to hold on to that place. But to hold on to the place, you must stoop to conquer. It is not everything that you use gara.
That is it.
That is the point. We said this thing earlier.
Yes.
And people are saying, are you sure this man, are you sure they will make peace? Are you sure? Wike has to realize that he's not a small boy anymore. We've seen these things happen to other politicians. And that's why I gave that background. There is no big deal there. It happens in other places. I even still think that this guy is so much of a gentleman.
Yes, he is.
Because he is thinking that 3 months is too far. How about those who did it the first way?
What is that? Edo, didn't you see Obaseki and
Oshomole. And he ganged up with his mates and got them to kick Oshomole out of the chairmanship.
Yes.
Remember that time, I was warning Oshomole about how to handle the matter. I remember somebody even commented, say, Jideke, now. Because I told him as a leader, don't say certain things. Here, the advice was not taken. He went gung-hu. And when you go gung-hu in these matters, this fellow now will be holding meetings with your enemies. All those governors that do not like Amechi,
yes.
I mean, Wike, whether they are an APC or PDP, they will be
even ministers
gravitating towards him now because they want to crush a common enemy. He has to realize and make it difficult for them to achieve that aim of crushing him. But he thinks that everything he must use No, you can't. Can't solve every problem. You must use wisdom.
You are not getting my point.
That is my point from the beginning.
You are getting.
If you are listening to me, that's my point from the beginning.
You are getting my point.
I started by saying Wike must slow down. I'm not. Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
You see, the point is, you may feel bad that somebody has betrayed you. Let's face it. There's nobody who will not feel bad. If you betray Asiwaju today, he will wait for you.
Asiwaju, so many have betrayed him. Did you see the way he played big politics? Did you see the way he played maturity?
Wait. Some of
if
them.
If he wants to serve you breakfast, since I've been had to serve you breakfast.
They go first. They go first flog them. Before you go bring them out. That's what I'm saying. But you know, come public. No, but you must first. You must now. Why you then take drum? This person, as governor, he has power. So you know, deceive yourself. The resources there.
You know that's the deal with VP.
That's why you said
the richest state in Nigeria.
He accepted that. He said, but everything is not money. That I have.
You can have. He's talking about having 27 out of 31.
Yes.
That is nothing.
Nothing, no.
Within a short time,
they go turn around.
I can tell him the story. I'm a political historian. I can tell him where such tables have turned.
Of course, now.
Let him live. Let him do this thing.
You know, happen in my state of him. When Okorocha,
when he won, he was minority now.
Of course, now.
They didn't know switch to his side.
You don't forget. That is my state. Which has Okorocha. Period. May they go on.
So we just hope that these people will allow peace to reign in River States. But the battle line has been drawn.
No, the president has waded in. Let them respect the president. And especially Wike, let him respect the president. Stop those needless media chit-chats.
The chit-chat, I've said he had to stop it. He had to stop it.
Stop it. It's needless. It's pointless.
You have to stop it. If you want to call the
You
media
have many
to talk
enemies
about,
now. When they gang up against you, you can't defeat everybody.
BK, if you call the media to talk about FCT, I don't have any problem with that. But when we
But he's doing well in FCT.
Yes, he's doing. Yeah, he is.
Doing well.
But when he not descend to the local politics again, that is not where the problem is.
Second base, Jare.
All right. For the past 1 year, many towns and communities in Osun State, southwest Nigeria, are without traditional rulers after installation and presentation of staff of office and instruments of appointment by the former governor of the state, Adeleke Oyetola. This was due to an executive order signed by Governor Adeleke on the 28th of November, which affected 28 schools. 1 year after, the situation remains. TVC News' Rafiu Ahmed takes a look at the circumstances surrounding their appointment and subsequent reversal by the incumbent governor in November 2022. Let's share the story with you.
In the twilight of his administration as governor of Osun State, Adeleke Oyetola appointed and presented staff of office and instrument of appointment to more than 20 traditional rulers. They include the Akiro of Ikiron, Oba Olaleka Kadiri, the Ewa of Igbajo, Oba Adeleke Gafamodun, the Are of Ire, Oba Olupanle Ademola, the Olupo of Olupana, Oba Rafiu Oyekami, among others. Ademola Adeleke was sworn in on the 27th of November 2022 as the governor of Osun State. His first assignment on Monday 28th of November was to issue some executive orders. The executive order on chieftaincy affairs and appointment of traditional rulers affected 28 schools. However, the governor was particular about the Are of Ire, the Ewa of Igbajo, and the Akiro of Ikiron, as he ordered them to stay away from their palaces and directed security operatives to take charge. He thereafter set up a review committee to look into the appointments of the affected traditional rulers, and the committee, led by Bumi Jenyo, submitted its report in March this year.
Over 1,000 petitions, and we had interview with over 200 individuals, including the kingmakers.
Ademola Adeleke promised to issue a white paper on the report.
We just want to make sure that Osun State is different from other states. That under my leadership, we will make sure that we have rule of law, we will make sure that we have due process.
8 months after, the state government is yet to issue a white paper, and this is now a source of concern for many, particularly residents of the affected towns and communities. The Elemaga of Ikiron and one of the Ikiron kingmakers is surprised that politics is being played with traditional institutions.
Selection of kingship in our town lie within the jurisdiction of the kingmakers. The kingmakers of Ikiron has spoken, and spoken loudly, that we were all behind Oba Olaleka Kadiri, being the only person who got 6 votes of the kingmakers out of the 7 who participated.
The secretary of the 6 ruling houses in Ire says the negative effects of the action of government on the socio-economic development of the town cannot be underestimated.
What we are expecting the governor to do right now is to come up with the right decision on reopening of the palace being closed down, because this has really affected the community.
The Oluom of Igbajo, Sunday Akiri, said due process was followed in the selection and appointment of Owa of Igbajo, Oba Adeleke Gafamodun.
There's a process by which you can choose an Oba in the town, and the kingmakers made their choice. The selected prince went through the necessary process before he was crowned as the current Owa of Igbajo. If anybody is displeased with the process, the courts of law are there to advocate on the process. That is why we are appealing that the government should do the needful today.
The Olowo of Kuta, Oba Adekunle Makama, appeals to the state government not to waste time in releasing the white paper. We visit the Ministry of Local Governments and Chieftaincy Matters, and the Commissioner, Dusu Babatunde, says the governor is being meticulous in studying the report, considering the number of stools involved.
Because of the enormity of the number of chieftaincies involved and the importance of the chieftaincy institution in Osun State and in Nigeria, because imperative for the governor not to take a hasty decision on them. So the government is looking at the chieftaincies one after the other with a view to taking a decision that will be longer lasting, that will solve the problems once and for all.
By the 28th of November, it will be exactly a year that the traditional rulers were told to vacate their palaces.
The fate of the affected traditional rulers still hang in the balance, but the Commissioner for Local Governments and Chieftaincy Affairs is appealing for more patience from residents of various communities affected, with an assurance that a white paper will soon be issued by the state government. Rafiu Hamid, TVC News, Osogbo.
You know, these traditional rulers were actually appointed by Adeboye Oyetola, the former president. I mean, the former governor of Osun State. Now,
they were picked by their kingmakers, but the governor then ratified the appointment. You understand?
Okay.
So so it is not the duty of a governor to pick a traditional ruler. Kingmakers who pick who they think is the best from the ruling houses. The governor's role is simply to ratify, because they are employees of government in the real sense of the word. So this what Adeleke said from the beginning, that any appointment made from July, he took over in November. He said any appointment made from July that he would not approve. So these traditional rulers were amongst those that became traditional rulers after June, because he was thinking that this that Oyetola was hurriedly doing some things, you know. So one of the things he did was immediately he got there, the teachers that he employed, he fired them. Those teachers that he employed last minute, and health practitioners too that he employed, he fired them. Even the rector of the State Polytechnic, he removed, although he later reappointed him. We always say government is a continuum, but we can't have a situation in which, for political expediency, you then move against steps taken by your predecessor. And we must do our best not to insulate the traditional institutions from politics. Why go to the point of saying that traditional rulers picked by kingmakers in their domain should not even go to their palaces? What's the meaning of that? That's abuse of power. And you singled out 3 of them. Owa of Igbajo used to be chairman of APC in the state. You said he must not even go to his palace. And of course, the traditional ruler of Ire and Ikirun. It was only in Ikirun that there was a little disagreement over the choice of the Oba. But even that is not enough. There is disagreement over the choice of Shawon of Ogbomoso now.
Yes.
But the agreed people, they've gone to court. That's the way it should be. But for a governor to come into office and say, okay, 28 traditional rulers, I do not want to see you, and you stop paying their salaries since then. Some of them, you said they must not even move near their palaces. I don't know where people derive this kind of power and then abuse it. This is what I see. And if you set up a committee, how long does it take for you to come up with a white paper? It's about 1 year now. No white paper. You just left those people in abeyance. They are communities without rulers. I don't think this is right at all. I don't think this is right. And people say that Adeleke has done this, that is playing politics. I will not disagree, because it is clear that the fact that, those people were appointed just before the government left office. Therefore, I mean, it's for me, the governor should release the white paper, and where these people were appointed in line with the established procedure, they should let them be. Let them continue to occupy their stool. Let them return to their palaces. You can't just leave their communities like that without traditional rulers to govern them.
This is complex.
Yes, it is complex. But my worry is that Governor Adeleke is having too much controversy surrounding him. Don't forget, just a few days ago, the issue with the Chief Judge of Osun State, where whether he likes it or not, he said it was the State House of Assembly that did it, that removed the Chief Judge, even when he knows fully that he does not have that power. The State House of Assembly does not have the power to remove a Chief Judge. That's common law. That's what we're talking in law. It's simple. The power to remove a judge lies with the agency, and that is where it stops. A second-year student of law in the university knows that. So where they derive the power to now, good enough, good reasoning, was able to prevail, and he tried to reverse himself. I said, no, I didn't appoint him.
The person he appointed refused to.
He cannot. If the person tries it, the agency will come hard on. It has happened before.
Yes, no.
It has happened before. The guy will be retired. So he has done the right thing by writing the agency, and that is better to this. What we need to ask ourselves is, does the governor have the power to remove any traditional ruler or not? He does have the power. We have seen it happen in Kano State, where Ganduje removed the emir of Kano. And that was, we saw that through the court and the rest of them. But as Jide rightly say, there seems to be a lot of political undertone. It doesn't have to take a whole 1 year, because now we're talking about government nearer to the people. And the more you appoint some of these people, it makes governance is bit more. We are talking about that local level, then you're talking about local government level, which is why some states have been saying we want more states. Look at what is happening in Lagos State. Apart from the statutory number of local government that are given, that was enshrined in 1999 Constitution as amended, Lagos State was able to cover some SCDA, and you can see the level of development going on.
Even borrowed
some other states have borrowed that, and it's being so. We're also talking of security. Some of this people just think that having traditional lies. The chief security officer of a domain, the first security is the Oba, is like a prince, as prince is here. His dad is the chief security officer of that locality. Before the FDP or whatever talks, he would have called. He knows the boys, he knows the people within the locality, he knows who to talk to, he knows people to tell, calm down, this and that. So that is what. So I think that this shouldn't take too long. And Igbajo, for once, Igbajo I know is a very, very big place. That is where Bison Latin is. That's his locality. I think the governor should look at that white paper. Yes, should look at that white paper and come out with a decision.
It's not as if it's even sacking.
It's just
yes,
that is
and
it.
It's not paying their salary. It's not recognizing them.
Yes,
and that's going to be painful.
Yes.
So in that case, you are waiting.
Yes.
You just say no, you are not recognizing.
Yes, just sitting on it for close to a year doesn't mean. I don't think it makes.
Does it mean that one cannot take that you cannot make appointment 2 months, 3 months to live in office? Did Buhari not make some appointment just before he renewed some appointments before he left office? Tinubu can come now and say, okay, look at the woman in SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. She was,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
they renewed it just before Buhari left office.
You should look at his way.
So you now come and send the white.
You should release the white paper because that will give some credibility to whatever he's doing.
Now you can see some of the kingmakers are saying that out of 7 kingmakers, 6 chose an individual, and you don't want that traditional ruler. Are you from their hometown? Are you going to run the town for them? Governors just, I don't know who advises governors, they don't misuse power anyhow.
Power. Okay. Now, it's been litigation galore after the conclusion of the 2023 elections, such that the courts are overwhelmed despite the heavy dockets across various courts. More than 346 judges have been drafted to handle 2023 election matters. The fallout is that routine cases are left unattended for the next months. These guys are overstretched. The number of people that actually went to court after that election.
You know, the election-related litigation is a big problem in our country now. It's a big problem. People want to go to court even when it is clear to them that they lost. And now people will say, no, don't discourage people from going to court. Let's test our law. Some politicians are bad losers.
Yeah.
They believe that, okay, you are going to get there, but I'm going to make life difficult. I'm not going
congratulations in the spirit of sportsmanship is becoming more and
even
more
to
difficult.
People who are well defeated, they know in their hearts that they were defeated, but they are going around. Some of them are telling us that they are the ones who won. Somebody went abroad to introduce a person who came third as the winner of the election. Where else do they do that now? Where? We can't even learn from George Weah. A very close race. Very close.
Very close.
And a race that divided the nation. But he behaved like a patriot. Came out and said, "Pam, congratulations, you defeated me." The 78-year-old man defeated him, he accepted. If it were Nigeria, they will go to court believing that they can bribe the judiciary, believing that the judiciary can give victory to somebody who didn't win. This is why at every point you see they want to go to court. Some of the matters for which they are going to court are needless. And I'm even saying that even the courts need to punish some lawyers for some of these things. Because we saw, for example, that matter that they took to court, the Abuja matter, over the 25% in Abuja.
Yeah.
That some individuals got up. They didn't take part in the election. The law says that you cannot file an action except you are a participant. They call themselves Abuja
residents.
Abuja residents. Meanwhile, some of them, we've known them to be Lagos people, and they went to court. So this is the waste of the court's time, some of these things, and that's why these judges are busy.
Again, the judiciary, especially these judges, they are overwhelmed, and they have time span. That's the beauty of it. That it can be more than.
I learned that there is a lot of cases of cut and paste happening now. The embarrassment in Kano, people say is the result of cut and paste. There was another case in which the intro to the CTC was from a case in Jalingo. They brought it to a case in southern Nigeria. So because they are overwhelmed, a lot of this cut and paste is happening, and there's no time to thoroughly vet those things before they go out.
Yes, it's true that the judges and justices, as it were, are overwhelmed by the cases. But the fact is that I also believe that some of these things could have been avoidable. Starting with the election petitions. If INEC has done what it needs to do, and we've gotten our electoral system right, there will be less litigation. And that is a fact. Good enough, BK talked about what happened in Liberia. It's because of the transparency of the system. The man that was defeated saw that the system through which he was defeated was transparent enough, and he came out and gave. This happened in 2015. It's not like it's something new here. Goodluck Jonathan in 2015 came out and even before the election, before the result came out. But that was
he said that if he had listened to people that
of course, that's what I'm saying.
That election was not perfect.
No, it was not perfect.
We saw underage voting.
Yes, we did.
You people were filming them.
Yes, we agreed. But what I'm saying is,
so if he wanted to, if it was someone else, he would go to court.
Yeah, but what
that discarded that did not work.
The whole president.
But do you realize? No, but do you realize that we had less litigation in 2015, even across?
That was the first time
yes, that is what I'm saying. You see, so most often than not, then the judges and justices are also, yes, they are human beings. Most often than not, we just think that they are part of the system. They are part of the Nigeria. Yes, there have been instances where we know that some judges are corrupt, whether we like it or not.
Of course.
There are. When you see some of the judgment coming out of some of these tribunals, you know that, because yes, we believe whatever, when you come to issue of courts, tribunals, these judgments are based on evidence. But when you bring the same line of evidence, same facts, because they give you contradictory, that means there's a problem.
Okay, all right. Joining us via Zoom from Enugu State for more discussion on this issue is a lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Chino Obigu. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Chino Obigu.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Barrister.
Yes.
Can you hear us? Yeah. We hear that the appeal court especially is overworked. Do you agree? Do you agree?
Yes, definitely. First of all, let me thank you for inviting me. My name is Chino Obiagu.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, definitely. The courts are overwhelmed. The tribunals are overwhelmed by a sheer number of cases, especially at this election cycle.
What can we do? Somebody suggested that we should actually have judges set aside purely for electoral matters. Would that be a solution? Wouldn't it make judges idle for like maybe 3 years out of 4, if we were to have that?
Definitely, that's not the solution to the problem. One of our colleagues has mentioned that the problem is when there is lack of transparency in the electoral process, in the balloting process, there is tendency to have high level of litigation arising from the election. And that was what we saw in this 2023 cycle of elections. But that does not also say that other cycles, they have huge case dockets. We saw both in 2011 and 2015, large number of election petitions. In a state like Imo State, where I participated in some of the elections, almost every office was contested, and that is really very appalling. And you see a panel of 3 justices having a docket of 120, 150 cases. There's no way they can resolve this in 180 days, which is the deadline set by the Electoral Act. So we have, I've been in election petition for a number of years, and I begin to think that election dispute resolution should not be through litigation. In many countries of the world, they have found a way to do electoral dispute resolution through alternative dispute mechanism. And the Electoral Act makes a provision for that. In fact, the Electoral Act provides that if anybody disputes the result of election, you should approach INEC to do a review. And that review should include recounting the ballots, looking at the ballots again, what is their complaint? That administrative measure is meant as a clearinghouse, so that it's not every case that should go to court. But INEC didn't activate that mechanism. We expected that INEC was going to set up a panel of mediators, a panel of arbitrators, who are not necessarily lawyers, who are experienced in the electoral system. And when complaints come administratively, they should review them. There are some cases where those simple complaints of, for instance, underage voting, for instance, where there's a ballot box snatching. These are instances that INEC, through this measure, can deal with. and then that will reduce the number of cases going to tribunal. But everybody goes to tribunal, even when there's a complaint about non-qualification or that somebody submitted a forged certificate. Why can't INEC set up a panel to look at that certificate? Is it forged? If it's forged, then disqualify the person. Does it have to go to the election petition? So I think we have not gotten right the electoral adjudication system, and we have said that the process of litigation is very outmoded. Only very few jurisdictions use that method. In Kenya, during the presidential election, it was resolved within 2 weeks because they set up a panel of justices, and the complaints were heard, votes were recounted, and the election was recalculated, the voting was recalculated. And that's the way to go to Nigeria, I think, in my own personal opinion.
Yeah, son, the president of the Court of Appeal has decided that cases from northern Nigeria should be handled in Abuja, and cases from southern Nigeria should be tried in Lagos. What do you think she was trying to achieve by this? Has this helped to really speed up adjudication in these matters?
No, on the contrary, with all due respect to my lord, on the contrary, because it creates burden on the litigants. And I was involved in a matter in Imo State, and then for security reasons, it was transferred to Maraba in Nasarawa State. And it was difficult for us to move our witnesses. It's a huge cost. Difficult for lawyers to transport themselves at huge cost. So at a point, we had to drop some witnesses. So when you move the tribunal from the location of the contest to another area, it creates burden of costs. It creates fatigue and all that. So, and it's exactly human beings that are going to handle the cases, whether in Abuja or in Kano or in Lagos. So these are cosmetic measures to address the issue of the challenges of election litigation. We must look deep into what are the causes, because even when there's allegations of corruption, the stakes are very high. People seek for office, people are occupying offices as governors, as presidents, as senators, and they are the one, the results that are being contested. They have access to resources, and who have needs, who are part of us here in Nigeria. So we cannot continue to blame the judges or those participating in that process. We should also look at the system itself. The legislature should look deeply at what are the means of dealing with contestants. Because if I tell you, a lot of people spend more money in election dispute resolution than even they spend in campaigning.
Yes.
And that is really very, very bad. I mean, with all due respect to lawyers like myself, who sees that as a means of earning a living, but I think that for the sake of our democracy, we need to reduce the acrimony that comes from election petition system, and we can only do that by making it less technical. Let's use arbitration and mediation to resolve some of these issues. So moving the tribunals, the panels to Lagos and Abuja does not solve any problem, because it's the same justice that will. Yes.
Okay, I want to thank you for your intervention. Chino Obiagu, thank you for your intervention. SAN, thank you for your intervention. We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk sports. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be right back after this breather. Please don't go away. Stay with us.
Politics is defined as getting what, where, when, and how. But in the mix, many things come to play to shape the political fortune of any country.
Honorable Minister, how you misinform the public?
From the political actors to the electorate, campaign to voting, from debates to policy decisions, big events happen to engage us in constant conversation.
That's what we're looking for. Not some people who are talking about ethnicity. No.
Who is on your mind?
Don't worry.
Join me every day on Politics Tonight, where we dissect issues that shape our political destiny. Politics Tonight, weekdays on TVC News.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Now sports. Thank you for staying with us. It's Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Nigerians can boast that the men's national team, that's the Super Eagles, has abundant talents who are making waves in European leagues. But the results are saying the opposite for the national team. The team's poor performances have become worrisome for Nigerians who are now asking questions. Why should a country so blessed with talents be having poor results in international matches? I have a guest there, and thank you for joining us.
Ayo, good afternoon, and of course, Jide, good afternoon. You see, it's kind of weird and funny that we keep going back and forth about this whole Super Eagles, why have we not been doing well, and yet no lasting solution to it. See, for what the Super Eagles stand for, it's as a result of what? The NFF, the ministry, and the federal government getting involved in football in Nigeria. See, it's not far-fetched. Before we came on there, Jide talked about the Spanish team and their coaches that will be going to the to the Euros. They didn't just get there. It has to do with process and processes. First, let's even look at our league. They say your national team should be a reflection of your league, or your league should be a reflection of your national team. But in the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the reverse is the case. That's one. Number two, the last NFF president we had that gave us a solid national team was Chris Emerua. We've had Aminu Megari, we've had Amaju Pinnick, we've had different NFF presidents that have come and do their thing and leave. What has been the solution? Nothing. In 1994, we all remember the squad Clemens Westerhoff put together. Going to the Olympics, you could say this player would start this game and the next minute the coach tells you otherwise. That's because there's a squad depth. We've got pool of talent. And that's also because we've got a league that was running functionally and administrators who understand football at its best. Now, I remember up front then, going to the Nations Cup, we all knew that Rashidi Yekin was going to start every game. But you look at the wingers. We had Tijani Babangida. We had Finidi George. There's a Samson Siasia somewhere. There's an Emmanuel Amunike somewhere. You understand? There's a Victor Ekpeba somewhere. Now, the current Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, before I even come back to the current talk about the current Super Eagles of Nigeria, we had dedication. Well, I mean, complete dedication on the part of the players. They come to the national team. Now, let's also remind ourselves that David Lewis said something, that for playing for the national team, it's a privilege and not a right. Because out of 200 million Nigerians, we've got more than 50 Victor Osimhen somewhere. That you're opportunity to play for the national team, it's a privilege. Now let's go back. Of all the players we have in our national team at the moment, how many can you say can equal the record of Rashidi Yekini in the national team right now? How many can you say would, if they play, it would give 200% best? Now you look at the character of the players. That's one. The commitment to the national team call-ups and duty. It's below par. And it's been below par since we left.
Of people like Amokachi.
You know the only dedicated player we have right now in the Super Eagles?
On the field.
The only dedicated player we have right now in the Super Eagles is Victor Osimhen.
Since he has not been playing,
there's always been problem.
We've been having problems.
There's always been problem. Now, you look at our league. The Super Eagles,
people talk about the goalkeeping.
I will get there. I'll get there.
Perhaps we've never had it this bad. I'm seeing a goal scored from more than 30 yards or so.
35 yards. And our goalkeeper was ball watching. Now, they say in football that the goalkeeper oversees the whole field. He sees from his position and he knows when to do what. Call his defenders to order. There's communication in football.
Yes.
Between the goalkeeper, every department, as far as you're playing in a game, you must communicate. Now, since Vincent Eyama left the national team, and we had, just because of we had leukemia issues, leukemia, we struggled to have goalkeepers in our national teams. And sadly, we have appointed mediocres, and I repeat, we've appointed mediocres to be in charge of the Super Eagles. We brought in Las Laga back. The whole shenanigans that surrounded Las Laga becoming our coach. Only the then NFF and Aminu Megari can answer that question. We went to the World Cup with Las Laga. It was after the World Cup Las Laga left. He didn't even come back to Nigeria. We had Betty votes. Now, we have, what's his name now? Jose Placero. Amaju Pinnick told us lies. The man analyzed our national teams. He talked about the weaknesses of the players and their strengths. He gave us SWOT analysis of the Super Eagles squad. Now, has that had any effect in our Super Eagles? Now, if you bring in a coach, you know the sad part. Every coach we've brought in, they use the Super Eagles to build their CV. You come in, okay, because it's Super Eagles, let me just go there, do my thing. Yes. And at the end of the day, I have a rich CV because it's the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, in 2012, our league was rated 12th best league in the world, ahead of the Scottish League. Now, where's our league? Eyimba won the CAF Champions League twice, back to back. That same Eyimba, you can't compare to Wydad Casablanca right now. Where was Wydad Casablanca when Eyimba won the CAF Champions League back to back in 2003 and 2004? Now, today, that same Eyimba will play against Pyramid, will play against Wydad Casablanca, and they will get beaten where? Now, what has been that change? They've had, what's his name now? Felix Anyasiagu, the then governor, Ojus Okalu, pumped in money. The current governor and the previous, the two former governors of Akwa Ibom funded Akwa United very well. They won the league, they won the Federation Cup. The only stadium we can boast of that can host international match or matches as it were is the Gospel Akpabio Stadium. Even the one in Ekiti is even far better than some stadiums we have in Nigeria. That tells you that even if government wants to run football, at least let this federation be at least 65% solvent. Because the moment they go cap in hand, and you know government money now, nobody accounts for it. They just go collect the money, and at the end of the day, they sit back somewhere, relax, and it's all.
No, the thing we should actually be talking about the quality of play of the Super Eagles currently.
And they play.
There is no blending. There's no blending. There's no teamwork. They do not complement one another in any way. And somebody was mocking us that, oh, as good as your team is, it has taken a defender to come and score for you. The coach of one of the elite.
No, the thing is in football.
So what really is going on? Is it that we cannot coach the team properly in a manner that they will play with some level of cohesion? There's no cohesion. These Super Eagles that play kick and follow.
If you talk about cohesion, that's the job of the technical crew.
Can this coach do the job?
No. And the answer is a pure no. A man that was told by Venezuela not to come close to their country again. We looked at him and they said Jose Mourinho recommended him. Never.
It's a lie now.
Never.
It's a lie.
Amaju Pinnick sold that land.
Can we attract the right coaches, given the fact that we owe them money, given the fact that the system here is so bad? Will they come?
The thing is, the NFL right now is broke. Let's be honest with ourselves. What's the name now? The current Guso inherited so many problems that he cannot solve within 4 years. And the Super Eagles of Nigeria is not the only national team we have right now.
Yes.
We've got the Super Falcons, the Flamingos, the Falconets. The list is endless. Now, if we dwell on the Super Eagles alone, then it means we are going to be changing other national teams.
Sorry, who's our Minister of Sports again?
Pauleno. He came to let's not even go there. let's not go there. But the thing is,
expand the conversation.
Let's not go there. The thing is, if we must do well at the Nations Cup, and sadly they've started campaign again. Let's do it again. The money they use in campaigning this campaign, let's put it in the Super Eagles and see if we'll not do it. The thing is, we need a coach. And right now, this man has been told to be in charge of the Super Eagles and the Super Eagles B. Now, Jose Pesero. Now, if a coach who has not seen anything good in an MPFA player has been told to take charge of the Super Eagles B, where would he get those talents from? Those players that would...
Stanley, if we just close our eyes and say, okay, let's bring in Amuneke. Are we saying that Amuneke cannot do this job? He's coached under 17 to glory. He has played abroad.
And he has coached a club in Zambia, coached a club in Egypt.
Yes.
The thing is, I had a chat with Amuneke some days
because the Moroccan national team coach that took the team all the way to the semi-final of the World Cup is an home-based coach.
When we won the Nations Cup in 2013, who won it for us?
Ekiti.
All the golden bronze will be winning are won by who? Indigenous coaches. Now, even if we bring an indigenous coach that understands our football, first and foremost, we need to go back to our football roots and system, how we played. Clemens Westerhoff gave us wing football. Until today, we've got wingers that can deliver. But the point is, if you have a coach the players don't respect, and I repeat, the players don't respect Jose Pesero. Under Amuneke, Samuel Chukwueze delivered at the Under-17 World Cup. Victor Osimhen delivered. But at the national team right now, I am sorry to say, as far as the Super Eagles setup is concerned,
not delivering at all.
God bless you.
Chukwueze is not delivering.
So it's not as if we are...
And he plays well at club level.
So what exactly is the problem? How do we resolve it? First, after the Nations Cup, this man needs to leave. We need to start afresh.
That means... We
know we are going to mess up. We know we are going to mess up.
For a man who was earning $70,000.
Nations Cup.
Wait,
but let us.
No, Jide, they're still in the Niger spirit now. Don't let. Because going to every competition, we don't go fully prepared. We believe that individual brilliance and that share of luck.
Why didn't it help us during the last
Nations Cup? Somebody said because
that Tunisian team that beat us was a rubbish team. Rubbish team.
You call it a rubbish team, but they
after beating us, did they go further?
See, for every match you play, there's always a game plan. There's always a way you set out to play it.
Look at how poor that Ghanaian team was. Yet we couldn't beat that team in Abuja.
Because a Francis Uzo, who was a Pasero, says is his best goalkeeper, would always be in between the sticks. I'll give you 3 goalkeepers right now. Amas Obaseki, right now with a Bandits insurance, has been having a tremendous season. Ojo Olorunleke keeps regularly.
Home base goalkeeper.
You understand? Now, there is someone, a Sporting Lagos goalkeeper, Christian, delivering very well.
Are they all better than Uzo?
At the moment, yes. Records and stats don't lie. Yes. Bankole has kept for Remo Stars on the continent and is doing well right now with Remo Stars in the MPFL. How come our coach, and you know the sad part, even if you want to blame Jose Pesero 100%, there's a technical committee in the Nigerian Football Federation.
What are they doing?
What's the name now? Augustine Eguavoen.
Yeah.
How often do they review the national team's performance and the coach after every game? We have look. You saw the reaction on Moses Simon's face. You saw the reaction. Ordinarily, that goal shouldn't have beaten. I'm not saying
there was another one before this. I was even.
I am not saying goalkeepers don't concede cheeky goals, but when it becomes more often.
No, this one now.
Look at this.
No.
Look at this.
Not this now.
Look at this. Our national team, and you see.
And it wasn't as if the ball swapped to the sides. Because the ball was not far from him.
Never. And like I said, We need to go back first after the Nations Cup. Whatever our performance will be at the Nations Cup, I don't care. And I'm not even bothered about the Nations Cup right now.
Do we stand the chance of qualifying for the next World Cup?
It's very slim. Because the two, see, the reason
Rwanda did us a big favor.
That's not a favor. That's not a favor.
They helped us to beat South Africa.
No, that's not a favor. They did their job. If we had done our own job,
you know, it makes it at least easier for us. What if South Africa beats them?
Thank God you said if.
They will just have pulled away now.
Thank God you said if. We have 2 matches now. If South Africa had defeated Rwanda, they would have been on 6 points. Now, if we are defeated...
And we are still on 2.
See, the reason why we keep saying there are no minnows in football is because we have refused to grow. There are still minnows in football.
Netherlands are growing too.
Netherlands are rebuilding, but they defeated Gibraltar by 6 goals to nothing. Côte d'Ivoire defeated Seychelles 6 goals to nothing. Now, the only time you find upset happen doesn't happen often. It's a one-off thing. But the moment
Sweden was
our national team lacks that fear factor. Our national team looks now ordinary.
So if Central African Republic can come here and embarrass us,
just remove the word super.
And then Madagascar,
we are super
these countries like Madagascar, Central African Republic, Lesotho, before they can't. In fact, if they are hearing the name Nigeria, they will be shitting in their pants. But these days, everybody is ready to play us. Because they know
that Egypt beats Djibouti 6-0. Musala scored 4 goals.
So what are we talking about? Are there still minnows in world of football?
No, but there are minnows. There are minnows still in football. There are minnows.
So our national team...
France beat somebody 14-0.
So, if you want to make commanding statements, you do that very well.
Okay.
Now, for Kylian Mbappe, scoring his 300 career at a young age. Yeah.
Let's commit Stanley. You think Nigeria will qualify for the Nations Cup, right?
Well, with Jose Pacero, I can't guarantee. But I'm very sure.
But if we qualify...
Nations Cup?
No, Nations Cup. I
struggling to qualify for the Nations Cup?
No, at least we qualified for the Nations Cup. We qualified.
Okay.
We qualified.
No, I mean, are we going to do well in the Nations Cup? That's what I wanted to say.
Well...
Because look at these African teams, I'm worried for us.
Stanley Polikau, I can't put my money on the Super Eagles. With Jose Pacero in charge of the Super Eagles, I can't put my money on the Super Eagles that they will get to the quarterfinal of the Nations Cup.
I want to thank you, Stanley Ikau. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
For your intervention there. And the Mr.
People are calling us that, are you not going to talk about how Eagles are performing poorly? It really bothers Nigerians, honestly.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing. Our Super Eagles are no longer Super.
We lost that spirit.
Totally.
We lost that spirit. It's not the time that Super Eagles used to be Super Eagles. We can never forget that set.
To remove the Super from the Eagles, they continue like this.
That 1994 set, I can never forget it. 94, 96.
There are different Eagles now. There's the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia now. So our own is Super Eagles. We were Super. The last time we were Super was in 1998. At least we had a bit of what we left with 1994 with and Atlanta 96. But for now, it's not the same.
All right, and that's our offering today on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Join us tomorrow for a regular episode of Journalist Hangout by 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Adeleke Ozuba. We'll see you tomorrow, and bye for now.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field,
taking you through as it happens.
It's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
with investigations that matter.
bringing in news that affects your life.
With sport, entertainment, and business news, so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every day.